In the name of Amen, the Supreme, the All-Powerful, the one and only true Lord, in Nama we trust, in Nama we think, and in Nama we will continue forward forever as the Republic of 괜ᴜᴛᴜRᴇ. This is ᴜᴜᴛᴜRᴇ, the talk show host on tonight's radio. And today's topic will be about savings plan for future wealth. And this is a 45-minute talk show. And an overview of the topic will be presented towards the end of the show. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is personal savings and the different ways to save money. One of the things that I wanted to put out there is that for those who are working and for those who have like a checking or savings account, there's a thing called direct deposit, whether you are aware of it or not. A direct deposit is basically when a percentage of your check or whatever amount of money that you make goes to your checking or savings account. So some of the ways that you can save money is by having a percentage of your money going to that account to save money. And then there's another thing called a group fund, which is a lot of people know it to be a 괜ᴜᴛᴜRᴇ. A group fund is basically like you get a group of people that come together, and in that group they all agree to pay a certain amount of money, until everyone gets their share of money that's included in that 괜ᴜᴛᴜ. So those who are aware of that, that's one way or one method that you can use to be able to put money to the side or be able to accumulate money within a group fund. And then another one would be a savings bond. As I always, said, that you can either invest in either a mutual fund or, a savings account, whereas interest can accumulate on there. So when you put a set amount of money into like a mutual fund, you have interest come on it, whereas that's money saved for you as well. So those are the different ways to be able to save money. So one method is, having a direct deposit where a certain percentage of your money can go straight to the checking account. You won't even see it, but you let it accumulate over time. And then a group fund, you get, trusted people to be in a part of, this 괜ᴜᴛᴜ or whatever you have going, and y'all be able to generate money that way. And then, as I said, you can have like a savings bond, such as a mutual fund, where interest is added on it. So that's what personal savings about, and how you can accumulate some type of, funds in your account and things like that. So what I want, all the listeners to keep in mind is what you think of money is how you will manage money, and how you manage money will determine your ability to acquire wealth. And in acquiring wealth, you have to give back in order to receive. So when you're giving, you're also receiving abundantly. So another thing that I was going to talk about for savings is community building. What is community building all about? Community building is about, community funds, community committee, and community service. And a community fund could basically be like a voucher, a grant, or just a group of people pooling in their money to build businesses or, things that's going to economically benefit, their community, So having that type of money to be for specific things, like I said, such as a business or for schools in particular, is a good way to, be able to establish a community building with the funds that's available to the community. And then having a community committee, basically when you have a board of people that are aware of the changes and the things that are going on, the activities going on within the community, like such as, when there's like a block party going on, you will have that community committee putting it together and be able to give you information about the neighborhood, about things that's being built in the neighborhood and things like that. So having that is a part. A community committee is a part of community building as well too. So it's also good and effective to go to those meetings to find out what's going around you and in your neighborhood and things like that from the people that are knowledgeable about your neighborhood. And then community service. Community service could be a person that has like gone to school, or they moved from out of the neighborhood and they got themselves established. One way you can give of your service is by giving back on like creating a workshop or something like that to be able to inform the people that are in your neighborhood, that your old neighborhood, that may be interested in the things that you had acquired in your degree or anything like that. So, giving back, for service is one good method as well for community building too. And with that being said, we'll be right back. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about, a very important thing, is, one way to make money, is starting your own business. So, what that entails is you being able to come up with a business plan. And in that business plan, on how to start a business plan, you have to be able to understand three things. And those three things consist of a market research. So basically you have to see if you are going out, and branching out on your own to run your own business, you have to see what's in demand and be able to research that and try to make some type of development over, with your business around that specific market or that thing that's in demand, or if it's just you just typically have a skill, at doing something or a profession, then you can pursue that as a business and things like that. But when you come up with a business plan, it's very helpful and useful for you in the end. So usually it just entails, what your profession consists of and how it's going to benefit your clients and the financial part about it, and being able to get, investors and lenders to, invest in your business and things like that. So when you have that business plan, it helps you a lot in even trying to determine whether you should go forth in your business that you want to pursue or not. So these are somewhat of the benefits of having a business plan. And for those who are listening, you can research it more and try to get more of the pros and the cons of that. And then the last but not least, invest in a franchise. Maybe you may not be interested in doing a business plan, and you might want to invest in, a franchise that's already out there, which is a good thing too. And I give a prime example of that. Like, say, like a franchise is basically, let's say you want to open up a restaurant, but you don't want to open up your own restaurant. And let's say you want to, just open up a Popeyes restaurant, for example. That's a franchise because we know that, Popeyes is in different states and things like that. So when you invest in opening up a business such as that, that can be a, somewhat of a good thing because you don't have to worry about putting a business plan together or being able to research any, whatever's on the market or in demand and things like that. You don't have to go through all of that. You can just go straight into the business and, make money off of that as well. So the key thought is it's never too late to start your own business. And if you're ever wondering what time to do it, the time is now to start up a business. And all you need is your idea and a business plan to go forth. And with that being said, I'm going to play a little bit more music. Okay, so collective savings. Collective savings, I spoke about what a personal savings is for an individual, but when you have a collective savings, that means it's more than one, group of people in it together. So what do a collective savings consist of and how it will benefit you and the community? Well, first it has to be in the building stage, and it consists of three things: a collective effort, everyone on one accord, and being able to put their money together and save towards something that will benefit either them or their children in the long run. Like, for example, building a school. If you have a community of people that wants to build a school for their children, or just anything in general, you know it has to be an effort behind that. It has to be action put to, the effort in order to come about, the vision, which I'll talk about later on, the vision of bringing about that school. So, putting money together and just being able to get the right resources and the right people involved is a collective effort. And then a collective goal. It should be everyone's goal to be for that one specific thing. If it is getting a school, that's the goal, to get that school for your children, or just like I said, in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be a school. It could be anything, but it should be one common goal. And everybody um like being able to be aware of their progression, and as they progressing towards their goal, and see where they at in terms of measurements of how they're reaching that goal. Is a good way to be aware of where you're at, in terms of reaching like if that is the goal of school, just to measure where you at, and then having a collective vision. The whole purpose of getting to school is for you to educate your own children. So the vision should be the school, and then your children having a place to be, taught and educated. So that's usually like the extended vision behind, everyone's effort and everyone's common goal, and one vision. And I'm just using the school as an example of it being a collective effort, with people, when it comes down to either, everybody pooling their money together and saving that money for something greater. And usually when you apply that method, a collective effort, a collective goal, and a collective vision, a lot of times the benefits of that will be you'll get businesses will get established out of it, because now when everyone is working together, we can help each other one by one. So you might be in a group, you might help one person start up their business, in particular, and then once that person get established in their business, then you can now work on the next person and get them established in their business, and then so forth. That's how you bring about a community, and that's all about effort and a goal as well too. So the vision is to build up, the community ultimately, and establishing these businesses. And then another thing, it will allow the economy to flourish once you have everyone working together for each other and by each other, and being able to support each other in their endeavors and having a business going and things like that. And then it will also help with having a level of financial independence when you have a community and y'all working for each other and by each other to create a vision for your community and moving forward. So I just just wanted all my listeners to know that it takes more than one people to build a village. And I say that terminology meaning that you can have one person going leading the way, but it takes more than one person to keep things moving and going forward to bring about a wider vision. So with that being said, I'm going to play a little bit more music. Okay, that was Blue Six. Anything is possible. The show is coming towards an end, and I'm just going to basically give an overview of the topic that I talked about. And I just want to thank all my listeners for taking the time out to listen to this broadcast tonight. I hope that you were able to get something out of it, if it's like an idea or anything or whatever. I just hope that it can be somewhat of a benefit, to you personally, or you find ways to make it be beneficial, to you, or, just in general, So the things that I talked about was personal savings, different ways to save money. I talked about that. And then I talked about community building, what community building is about. And then I also talked about business plan and how to start up a business plan, the 3 things that you should be aware of, which is doing a market research, and then coming up with a business plan, a small business plan, format, and then being able to invest in a franchise that's already out. So, some of the things to start up a business. Those were the 3 things that I talked about. And then collective savings. What collective savings consist of, and how it'll benefit you and others in the community. So those were the things that I talked about on tonight's broadcast. And I don't have anyone online for any questions, comments, or concerns or suggestions. So I'm going to be bringing the broadcast to a close. And like I said, I want to thank you all for listening, and good night.
It's the Republic of Mentellect, rising out the black race to the white race, out the black race to the white race. It's the Republic of Mentellect, black race to the white race. If it's hell, then it's hell us. They tried everything just to spell us. Fed us religion, gave us fake gods. Through all of that, we beat the odds. Now we coming together under one flag. Colors red, gold, and blue. Superman, Superwoman, that's me and you.